Shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Harakak Badash. Double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone, rule and teach well, and honors and salutations to the men of the Lord, doing the same and teaching the same. All right. This is a video lambacking, all right, of the elder brother Manak Zagba from GMS South Carolina 08. I'm almost through with this sit down he did. It's called Response: My Experience Dating a Hebrew Israelite Warlock. Okay, and this point. Well, I'm not gonna play the clip. But I'm gonna finish it after this sit down. But I wanted to line back off of what he said about being wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. And not being at your job. Proclaiming you're a Hebrew Israelite, or not being at your job or wherever you at. You might be visiting your biological family members, and just not being in that atmosphere and just trying to teach everybody that we Israelites and things like that, and so let me go back to the clip. Even the elder speaking on, even when you dealing with women, okay. When you first meet a woman and things like that, and she's interested in you, and you all you trying to hold Bible study and things like that, trying to make her, you trying to make her keep the commandments and make her do this and do that, eventually she's supposed to dance to your beat, and I get that phrase from the brother Yaikwab. He always say that. All right. Where, let me go to the precept first. So yeah, if you meet a woman, all right, because this woman in the clip, she was giving her testimony, about her being with the Hebrew Israelite man for like 2-3 years, and she was saying how it started off good and it went from sweet to sour, okay? And that's why it's very important to take heed to the true men of the Lord, beginning with the elder apostles, great millstone, okay, on down to the least of us, all right? that way you get counsel on how to like move in the world, so which I myself made those same mistakes, with getting into relationships and but this was years ago, but getting in relationships and you trying to teach them about God's chosen people and stuff like that. All right, so this is a very, very edifying sit down, especially for brothers that's just coming into the truth. So he's dealing with he's speaking of different situations. All right, on the whether a chick into you and things like that, how to deal with that when you're at work, amongst family members, so the brother, he covering all ends. All right, so this is great information, especially like I say, if you just coming into the truth, because when I came into the truth, I made those mistakes, just you full of zeal, when you first come into this truth, you full of zeal, and you just really you can't keep your mouth shut, so to speak. Okay, so I'm gonna get this precept, all right, and I'm gonna make one comment dealing with what that woman said. All right, let's get this precept. Okay, make sure the audio good. So this First Corinthians 7:14. Okay, for the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Elsewhere your children unclean, but now are they holy. Okay, so um, just because your woman, doesn't believe in this truth, you're not supposed to just kick her to the curb. Just stop dealing with her. All right, and you got a lot of this uh that goes on. Okay, and it's just a lack of just those guys probably false. They probably sincere, but they following false prophets and things like that. That's why we always say, you know, it's better for you to be listening and following to the true men of the Lord, the true prophets. All right, beginning with the elder apostles, great millstone, down to least of us. All right, So, but like that phrase, the brother Yaquab always say, that woman supposed to still respect. She supposed to respect your beliefs. Okay, if you're gonna deal with a woman that that don't believe in the truth and Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, she supposed to still respect your beliefs. All right, and how you move. Okay, and she supposed to eventually dance to your beat. All right. So that's the precept I had wanted. Now let's go here. All right, and I also want to say this, and that's why the elder apostles clearly said, numerous times, not to be wearing fringes, to work and stuff like that, and you actually got them Yah Israelites, and you actually got a lot of them, down here, and down here where I'm from, and it'll kind of catch you off guard because you're not really in your day-to-day life, you're not looking, for them like that, but they sprouting up, you'll look, be like, oh shit, they got on fringes. They'll be in Walmart shopping, all type of shit, working at Walmart or working somewhere wearing fringes, and that's not wise. Okay, it's just not wise. All right, for one, Esau, the so-called white man, he's using propaganda. All right, his propaganda machine to demonize the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, then you got 2/3 of our people, Salakia. You got 2/3 of our people. They hate the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, so you got hundreds of scoffers. They literally just making TikTok videos and YouTube videos on the Hebrew Israelites, especially if drama arise, if it's a debate happening, some Hebrew Israelites, some people walked up and was debating them, and the fight broke out, so these scoffers, they can't wait, um, for something bad to happen to the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, and but let me make a point right quick with this precept. This Amos 3:3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Okay, and the answer to that is no. All right, if you're not like-minded, you can't walk together. And the reason why I'm bringing this precept out, is because you can be at your job, running your damn mouth, trying to teach people the truth, trying to teach, tell niggas that they the Israelites and stuff like that, and you'll accidentally, be talking to a whole nother. You'll be talking to a Hebrew Israelite that believe in a whole different doctrine. You see, and now every day when you go to work, you got to debate this guy. Okay, so I done seen it in real time. Okay, so that's why I wanted to bring that precept out. So it's a number of reasons why you don't want to be doing that. Okay, and I'm gonna start off with these in Proverbs right quick. This is not gonna be a long sit down. I'm just you know You know, the Lord put it on my spirit to do a sit down as I was watching that elder brother sit down, and it hit me. It was like, yeah, I went through the same stuff. You know, the certain scenarios he's given and giving understanding and clarity on. I was like, man, you know, thinking to myself, I wish I would have knew all that, you know, up front. You know what I'm saying? Like right when I found out I was a Hebrew Israelite, you know, and that, you know, that would save you a lot of uh stress, you know what I'm saying, and debate or drama, all that shit. Okay. And a lot of us have the same testimony. When you first came to the truth, you know, you tried to teach your family, you know, that we're the of the 12 tribes of Israel, you know, and things like that. You went to Leviticus 11:7, you know, and shit. So we all went through it, but you know, but these edifying sit downs that we do is to help, you know, the newcomers. All right, you know, the Akim and Aquas that's instead of coming in, it's going to help them, um, you know, not make the same mistakes. All right. Proverbs 10 and 19. Proverbs 10 and 19. In the multitude of words there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise. Okay? So don't be at your job, you know, trying to teach people we the Hebrew Israelites. All right? It's not wise at all. Okay? You know, it's not expedient. It's lawful but not expedient. Okay? And you got to be careful because you'll have tempting it'll be moments of temptation, you know, when you might hear you know, a nigga in the world, he might be talking about news. He might be talking about politics, or he might be talking about doomsday prepping, you know? So you still gotta be careful. You know, you might have that urge to be like, you know, to put your 2 cents in. You know, you gotta be careful. All right? Because that can be a whole, you know, that can be a spiritual setup, you know, and now you trying to teach them the truth and it backfire on you and then you lose your job because you thought you had a moment to where you can gain some, you know, gain the fruit. You know what I'm saying? So I already got to be careful. Matthew 10 and 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. You see? So we're amongst wolves. Okay? Your biological family, wolves. Your friends of the world, wolves. You know, parents, cousins, whatever, wolves. Your people at your job, wolves. Okay. You know, and like the elder said, you know, you might have a situation where somebody, you know, say your job hold a bunch of cookouts. All right. And my job do the same thing. You know, every few months or so they have like a cookout, you know, or you know, they bring everybody breakfast or lunch or, you know, some bullshit like that to show their, I guess, appreciation for the workers, you know, and, you know, you'll have your coworkers, they might ask you, you know, uh, why you don't eat pork or anything like that. You got to know how to answer that question, you know, without just exposing your beliefs, so to speak. Okay. All right. So hey, those situations arise. You know, so but you got the true men of the Lord telling you how to deal with those situations. Okay. So we're amongst wolves. Okay. And that includes, you know, where you lay your head at. Okay. Well, you know, don't be you know, walking through your neighborhood like like a Jehovah Witness trying to teach people that they're the Hebrew Israelites. Okay. All right. Now if you decide to do that, that's on you. when it backfire and all type of shit happens, that's on you. Okay? But we just, men of the Lord are telling you through experience and through the scriptures of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, hey, it'll behoove you not to do this, that, and the third. You're already going to catch adversity and trials and tribulations as it is, bearing your cross with Hamashiach Yahweh Shah. All right, we're suffering just like our Lord did, you know what I'm saying? And we got to go through that, the hour of temptation, all right, and that persecution of the saints. We already, by the, going to be tested. There's no need for you to make your life harder by running your mouth trying to tell everybody around you, that we the Hebrew Israelites and things like that, because the shit can backfire and you can catch a whole lot of flack. Okay. Matthew 10 and 17. All right. And we know you're going to have scoffers or just unlearned Israelites in the truth. They're going to consider that being cowardly and you trying to hide the fact that no, it's not hiding, and that's what simplicity come in at, because we proclaim our faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah by doing these sit downs, by going on the highways and hedges, okay, and making these YouTube videos, all right, going in the cheap place of concourse and teaching the Bible with the 100% truth. So that's declaring your faith out in the open. So it's not like nobody just telling you something out of carnality or you perceiving it as carnal, thinking, we just trying to hide this truth. No, we definitely not trying to hide this truth. We're trying to, tell you how to maneuver through this captivity amongst these wicked people. Okay? So there's Matthew 10 and 17. It says, beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. That's right. All right. So this Proverbs 14 and 3. In the mouth of the foolish is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise shall preserve them. Okay. All right. And you can get yourself in a lot of trouble by running your mouth. Okay. Proverbs 15 and 7. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the foolish doeth not so. All right. And let me see how much. Okay, I'm about to end it. So yeah, that's pretty much that's the point I wanted to make. All right. So and this is a very edifying lesson by the elder brother. All right. I encourage you to watch it and get edified, okay? Especially, for the younger brothers, all right? And because I know you just coming into the truth, then your family, they're going to notice the change in you. So they're going to be they're going to have like a magnifying glass on you and trying to figure you out, They're going to be trying to figure you out, okay? So this type of video is very edifying for those brothers that's just coming in, So Lord willing, that was edifying. All right. I want to end it and give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Harakak double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone, rule and teach well, and honors and salutations to the men of the Lord doing the same, teaching the same. Shalom.